all you need to know, the Bloomberg Quint podcast that prepares you for the day's business. Good morning, it's Friday. Here's everything that you need to know at the start of your day so that you can end the week on the right note. I'm Alex Matthew and this is the daily morning update from Bloomberg Quint. Today is the 26th of July. Vedanta chairman Anil Agarwal, who is the biggest shareholder in mining company Anglo American, said yesterday that he was divesting the nearly 20% stake that he has held in the company since 2017, according to several news reports. He said in a statement that his targeted return had been reached on his investment into the mining giant much before he anticipated. To be fair, despite speculation to the contrary, Agarwal has always maintained that the stake was an investment for his family trust. He said that it was unrelated to Vedanta and that he was not planning a takeover bid. The Parliament yesterday approved the amendment to the Right to Information Act, with Rajya Sabha passing it after negating an opposition-sponsored motion to send it to a House committee for greater scrutiny. The motion was denied by 117 members voting against the motion and 75 members voting in favour. The amendment will make changes to the tenure and compensation of the information commissioners, bringing them under the control of the central government. The Reserve Bank of India has given its in-principle approval to 6 account aggregators to start work on creating a framework that will enable customers to have control over who gets access to their financial data. According to the proposal, the account aggregators will work as intermediaries between companies seeking financial data of customers and entities that provide them, like banks, insurance companies, mutual funds, and even the goods and services tax network. They will allow sharing of such data after receiving consent from the customer. In major international news, the European Central Bank held rates steady and altered its policy statement to set the stage for a rate cut in the near future, probably in September. And interest rates will remain at present or lower levels at least through the first half of next year. Mario Draghi said significant monetary stimulus is needed and the outlook is getting worse and worse. Meanwhile, the Turkish central bank bowed to President Erdogan's instruction, slashing its key rate by a more than anticipated 425 basis points to 19.75%, citing weaker economic activity. It was the biggest rate cut since 2002. U.S. Secretary of State Michael Pompeo said the door remains open for diplomacy with North Korea even after its launch of short-range missiles on Thursday, an act he described as a negotiating tactic. He also said that he'd be willing to travel to Tehran in Iran to address the Iranian people about American foreign policy, likening it to Iranian counterpart Javad Zarif's visits to the U.S. In international markets, US stocks fell from record highs while the euro swung between gains and losses, and European bond yields climbed from all-time lows after Mario Draghi didn't give markets a more dovish signal. The tech-heavy Nasdaq declined by 1%, while the Dow and the S&P 500 lost about 0.5% each. The early rises in Asia, meanwhile, have all begun the session in the red. With that, it's over to Darshan Mehta for the trade setup for the day in India. Morning, Darshan. How are we likely to end the week?
Hi Alex, good morning everyone. Global cues are muted at this point of time and the S6 Nifty is also indicating a negative outlook. In terms of numbers today, Bajaj Auto, Maruti Suzuki, JSW Steel and Vedanta will report numbers today. And in Vedanta, remember the other important news that Reuters reported is that Anil Agarwal has sold a lot of stake in Anglo American. So probably that again will be in focus, and that's one of the key reasons that Vedanta has been doing well over the past few days. The other results include Vodafone Idea, ABB, Atul, GIC Housing, KPIT, Mahindra Life, Jubilant Life, Music Broadcast, Polycab, PNB, Puravankara, Team Lease Services. So lots of numbers that will come out today. In terms of numbers after market hours, Tata Motors reported results below estimates. Both JLR and India Business showed lower volumes and sharp margin contraction. The management believes that China business is stabilizing and expect resume volume growth. But the JLR management said that the FY20 margin guidance has been maintained despite the first quarter miss. Majority of the brokerages have cut targets on Tata Motors. Bajaj Finserv results were in line for the lending business and muted for the insurance business, both on the life and general insurance side. The cautious outlook by the management suggests a slight moderation in growth, and Bajaj Life has an exposure of almost 225 crores to bonds of DHFL, out of which 60% is provided. Bank of Baroda will be in focus. The number is adjusted with the aggregation of Dena Bank and Vijaya Bank with it. The NII were in line with estimates, with profit missing. The asset quality weakened. The weak financials were driven by higher credit cost and lower than expected capital gain. The key negative was higher slippages, mostly due to the SME and agriculture loan. PVR, the results are not too comparable given the fact that they are adjusted for Ind AS, but overall the numbers met the estimates. Financials are not comparable also because of the SPI acquisition. The ad revenues were up 28%. Overall the numbers were okay. Persistent Systems number below estimate. Service portfolio did well, but the digital portfolio, after a strong performance in fourth quarter, dropped 6% in the first quarter. Emphasis numbers were in line. Margins dropped slightly, and the weakness was driven by lower than expected growth in direct channel revenues. But the management is optimistic of achieving a run rate of $28 to $30 million versus the $24 million currently by the year end. Westlife Development, weak set of numbers. SSSG and margins, both of them came in below estimates. Margin was impacted because of higher A&P spends, and SSSG was because of a high base. Biocon, mixed results as revenues were below, but PAT and EBITDA did well. Biologics and small molecules business, both of them did well. AU Small Finance, asset quality stable and the growth momentum continues. The AUM grew 44%. Tata Steel acquired 2.6 crore shares of Tata Sponge Iron. Now the stake is at 75.9%. Indiabulls Housing Finance says that the board has proposed Samir Gehlot to be the non-executive chairman of the amalgamated bank, and Gagan Banga shall continue to be the MD and CEO of the bank. Nalanda increases its stake in Amara Raja Batteries to 9.3% from the current 7.2%. And finally, Shriram Transport, World Bank's arm IFC, will increase $200 million in the company to fund purchases of commercial vehicles and supports micro, small and medium enterprises. But there's much more you need to know before trade actually starts. For that, log on to our website, bloombergquint.com, and click on the All You Need to Know tab, and you will be prepared for morning trade.
Thanks, Darshan. And as always, thank you all for listening in. This is Alex Matthews signing off. Have a lovely day and an even better weekend.
I hope you enjoyed listening to All You Need to Know. Did you know that you can listen to the show on the IVM Podcast app? On the IVM Podcast app, along with this, we have a number of other shows which you think you'll enjoy. Listen to Cyrus Says with Cyrus Brocha as the host. Listen to Pesa Vesa with Anupam Gupta. The Scene and the Unseen with Amit Verma. Or Shunya One hosted by Shiladitya Mukhopadhyay and myself. Check out the IVM Podcast app to get more talk content that you will enjoy.